All right, and just a little introduction on how this game works. This game is it's an RPG game with city building elements. It's kind of like a roguelike, but it doesn't have the typical features of a roguelike. It doesn't have like permadeath or anything like that. But the goal is to get through each of the game's randomly, or rather procedurally generated dungeons, collecting the pieces to build the world. And once you've built specific buildings and things like that to progress you through the game, you can get to the next area and repeat the process until you get to the end. So once again, we're only going to the first and second areas of the game in this category, but you're going to get to see exactly how this works with the game here. All right, so it looks like we got the layout set up, so we're almost good to go here. Let's go, dude. All right, so we're going to be getting started here in just a sec. I want to play some Sfida now, dude. Sfida is poggers. All right, so we got the first start. Here we go. All right, let's get right into it. So, the start of the game here, we're just going to be going through a little bit of text. The start of the game, everything gets started pretty quickly, like within the first minute and a half of the game starting, we're already dungeon crawling. So right now we're just going through the little description of kind of what's to come in the game. We're going to be talking about an ancient story of the main character Tone and his adventures to restore the world that's been destroyed by the Dark Genie. And we're going to be naming our character here. You can name your character anything you like, but usually it's fastest to just name them whatever. Looks like our boy Sonic is naming the character Good Luck, Have Fun. Taking a little time lost for that, but I appreciate the good sportsmanship there. Let's go, man. So there's one cutscene that's skippable in this game. It's the intro cutscene. So we already skipped that here, and we're going straight into the mayor's house. So in the mayor's house, the mayor's just kind of he's going to give you a rundown of what's happened in that cutscene we just skipped. He's basically just telling you like, hey man, the town got destroyed. I'm the only one who's left, and I don't know what's going on, but I'm good. I'm happy to see you, man. I'm glad I'm not the only person here. So he's going to tell you that the divine beast Dran, which is the first boss of the area, should still be in the cave, and maybe he can help, get things back to speed and back in order in the town. So he gives you the gate key to get into the dungeon, and we're already heading into the dungeon for the first time with Ryushon here. All right, so Divine Beast Cave. So you're going to get to see how dungeons and everything work in this game. So you see B1, there are a certain number of floors per dungeon. The first dungeon has 15 floors. There are, I think it is 2 floors that aren't procedurally generated. They're just kind of like boss floors. But everything other than that is procedurally generated. There are tens of thousands of seeds for how these dungeons can actually turn out. The map generation is random. The chest contents are random. The way to progress through the actual dungeon floors is to defeat enemies that drop a gate key that lets you get to the next dungeon floor. So the goal that the runners are going to be going for now is they're going to be trying to loot the chest to find anything that they could to help them get through the dungeon. Ryushon just found a bone key, and he just found a magical crystal. So the bone key is going to let him get past these procedurally generated skull doors. These things can be a bad roadblock that hold you back from making progress, but he got a pretty good map generation that makes it to where it didn't make him backtrack, and he got a first enemy key, which is insanely lucky. That was very good. So, nice for Ryushon. We got Sonic. He's also looking for the key here. And wow, Sonic also got a really early key, and the exit is right next to him. So you kind of get to see how polarizing the run can be here. Ryushon is still searching for the exit on his side and just found it, but since Sonic had a better map generation, the enemy who dropped the key was right next to the exit. He's already ahead, even though he took a little bit of time loss at the beginning. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth, kind of just like that in this run, just because of the nature of the randomness. But it's already pretty close, so that's pretty awesome. So floor 2, same deal. Any enemy can drop the key, except for enemies that fly or levitate. I think it's just something to do with the way they program them. They don't like those enemies dropping keys, so we're going to be avoiding enemies like that. And Ryushon is opening the first Atla rather. Nice. Sonic got a really early key on the second floor as well. But the Atla orbs that they're picking up now, these orbs that have a little cutscene to pick them up, these are the pieces of the town that you have to rebuild. So you're going to be looking for a handful of very specific town pieces to build to let you progress to the next area and build the shop. The shop will give you access to pretty much supplying yourself to get through the dungeon rather than having to rely on random drops for everything. You can kind of gear up and get bombs. You can get repair powder to keep your weapon alive. There's some weapon durability underneath the HP at the top left. Once that hits 0, their weapon is broken, and if you're using the default weapon like they're both using right now, the dagger, then your weapon does 1 damage, which is terrible. But if they have an actual weapon they've looted and found in a chest, if it hits 0, the weapon durability, then their weapon explodes and is gone forever. So it's really important to find a weapon if they can. If not, they're just going to kind of have a little bit of a more difficult time defeating more powerful enemies later. But Ryushon has found the key already, and Sonic is already heading out. So another thing that you can do in this game, depending on, you know, what RNG you get, if you find good Atla pieces early, or, you know, if the exit's just conveniently placed next to the key drop, you can decide to skip some of these Atlamillia, because the way that these Atlamillia work is they're also random. So basically, every time you open an Atla, once you enter a floor, the Atla chosen are set. But when you enter the next floor, you go to floor 3, for example, like Sonic's on right now, the Atla will shuffle around again, and it will change them on the way to that floor. So even though he skipped Atla on the second floor, the Atla that he skipped could still appear later, if that makes sense. So Sonic is getting some crazy luck, aptly named Sonickrazy. He just got a really early key again on floor 3. And once you get an early key like this, you can skip defeating enemies until you find the exit and go to the next floor. So it actually saves a lot of time and a lot of resources to not have to defeat tons of enemies as you go. So yeah, it looks like Ryushon had a little bit of unfortunate luck when it comes to finding the exit there and getting all of the Atla that he needed. So he's just now entering floor 3, but definitely can't count him out, because he could have a really lucky floor and just head straight out as well. Alright, so I haven't seen either player get particularly super useful Atla finds yet. Oh, but looks like Ryushon has found a weapon. So Ryushon found the Shamshir. That's actually one of the best weapons that you can find, because it has insanely high attack stat. It's going to make defeating enemies much faster and much more consistent later. And nice, very early key drop for him as well. This is a great floor for Ryushon. He could pull back ahead here. So Sonic is going to opt to go back to the locked door area, it seems. So as I said before, the bone doors that can be generated can sometimes block your way and force you to backtrack the entire length of the map. And it's really bad when that happens. It makes you lose quite a bit of time. But it is a safer choice to not skip Atla in a race setting like this, because having to come back for the Atla later would make you lose a lot of time, much more than having to backtrack here. So that was decent play on his part. He had to backtrack, and there is an Atla back here, so it was worth coming. Alright, upstairs storage, and that was an Atla that is actually necessary for progression. Yeah, there were 4 Atla behind that door, so it was definitely worth it for Sonic to backtrack for those. Pike, that's another one that he needs. So basically what we're trying to build here is we're trying to build the parts for Gaffer's Buggy, which is the shop, we're trying to build Paige's house with her dad Pike in it. He's going to help Gaffer's Buggy actually sell materials that help us. If you place the shop with Pike and Paige's house down at the same time, it actually makes Gaffer's shop inventory larger. So it gives us access to better items to purchase for the rest of the game. So we have to collect all of those parts together. We can't just build just the shop or anything like that. So it looks like it was a worth it choice for Sonic to go back, but Ryushon did pull ahead just a little bit there because of the just luckier map generation. They both had some pretty good key luck, but Ryushon kind of has the edge right now because he has found a weapon where Sonic is still looking for a weapon himself. So I think Ryushon's going to opt to use up all of the dagger's weapon durability while he can, because it's better if you don't have extra repair powders to just kind of waste the dagger's HP and then swap to a new weapon, just like he's doing here. Because, as you can see, the Shamshir only has 32 durability, which is very low. He has to be very selective in how he uses that weapon durability to maintain the weapon's viability, because if he uses it too much, it could break, or he would have to leave the dungeon to get more repair powder. And holding on to the repair powder early is also very important. So we just saw a duel there. That is a quick time event. It looks like, wow, Ryushon got the Garnet, which is the best gem in the game. It gives you +5 attack, which makes your weapon much, much stronger. This winning that duel with a perfect also gives you a power-up powder and the key to get out of here. But let's see what gem Sonic got here. So Sonic got a turquoise. Unfortunately, a turquoise isn't going to help him in this situation. Turquoise only gives the stats for Ice, Rock, and Mimic, I believe, which aren't very useful to getting through the dungeon quicker at this point in the game. But it's fine. My boy is still in it. He could have a really lucky floor. He could find a weapon himself. You know, it's never over in this game. So he's going to kind of refill his thirst meter. When your thirst runs out, your HP will steadily drain until it's at 0. So he's just kind of drinking that water in the inventory to prolong that process. Ryushon is almost out of thirst himself, but you could also find randomly generated fountains that are placed around the dungeon here, and they can refill your health and thirst as well. So Ryushon's probably going to opt for that. It looks like Sonic is going to do some sort of safety strategy here. He's exiting the dungeon early to refill his materials. So wow, Ryushon found a repair powder in a chest, which is very, very helpful for sustaining his ability to stay in the dungeon. But Sonic is doing the opposite. Sonic didn't want to rely on finding a random drop for repair powder, so he's going to go pick up the supplies from the mayor. The mayor will supply you with new materials, or new repair powders, bread, water, all the basics, until you get the shop pieces collected. So Sonic is going to opt to be safe and just get some extra repair powder now, repair his weapon, and get some more. But Ryushon is actually super lucky right now with that repair powder find. He's got a really strong weapon, top 2 weapon in this dungeon, and he has 2 repair powders that he can use. And it looks like he's doing very well on the Atla that he's finding as well. He just found Gaffer's Buggy. He's found a lot of pieces that are required to progress, so he's doing great. Sonic isn't doing too bad himself either. He's got a lot of Atla, so if you find all the Atla you need, you can stop collecting Atla completely, and that'll make you save a lot of time. So every time you open one of these orbs, like Ryushon is right now, that is an 8-second cutscene. So if you find everything you need early, you can stop opening those and save 8 seconds every time you pass by one. So Sonic is probably going to bank on that right now, because he's already got most of what he needs. He just needs a couple more things. And once you get to about floor 8 is when the first round of dungeon floors ends and you get your new ally. So they're almost there. As we can see, even though Sonic left for safety, he's still neck and neck pretty much. He just got to this floor, so he's a tiny bit behind, but they're still both on floor 5 together. So Sonic also opted to run over the magic circle. If you're holding the default weapon, like Sonic is here, the magic circles give you a stamina buff, which doubles your damage and halves the damage that you take. So it looks like he skipped a bunch of Atla, but that's just so that he can make full use of his stamina drink, because unfortunately, whenever you have stamina up, as you saw there, when you activate Atla, it will actually drain your stamina in that cutscene. So he just wanted to put those Atla off for now. I think stamina lasts 30 seconds to a minute. I think it's around that range. I forget the exact number, but he skipped these 2 Atla that he's picking up now just so that he could, make full use of his stamina time. But yeah, he got a pretty small map generation, it looks like. Ryu got a pretty decently large one. He had to backtrack as well for the bone door here, but the exit is right next to the bone door, so not bad on his part. Odd Gaffer, that's also a very necessary piece to progress. It's the shopkeeper himself. So Ryu is going to floor 6 now. Floor 6 is when the enemies start getting pretty tough. The enemies have already been pretty tough, but the enemies that start to spawn are going to have a lot more HP. We're going to have to deal with mimics, which are just chests that actually turn into monsters. And then more statues are going to spawn. Statues are very dangerous to fight if you don't have a lot of equipment like repair powders, because statues will shred your weapon HP. There's one right there. And as you saw, he got very close to breaking his weapon, but luckily he got a good roll on the damage to the weapon there, and it didn't happen. But this is a crazy floor generation for Ryushon. You see all these orange dots on the map. The orange dots are chests, the red dots are enemies, and the blue dots are Atla. So he got a room full of orange dots, so there's probably going to be a lot of mimics on this floor, which could also contain the key themselves. I'm surprised he hasn't actually run into one yet. That's pretty funny. There you go. There's a mimic. Okay. I'm not sure if Ryu is going to opt to avoid the mimics or not. I also didn't see him equip the garnet. He did get a +5 attack attachment, but I don't know if he actually equipped it onto his weapon. It would help deal with these mimics a lot if he did. But he's still doing pretty good. Sonic is also doing pretty good himself. He's about to head out now. He just got the key. He unfortunately got some pretty bad luck with the key there. It was like the last enemy, and he had to go all the way to the opposite side of the map to find it, unfortunately. Yeah, it looks like Ryu is opting to skip the mimics. So he did. Okay, good. Yeah, skipping the mimics is... It's not a bad idea, because mimics can deal a lot of damage to your weapon, especially with something like a Shamshir that only has 32 weapon HP. The 32 weapon HP can get deleted quite quickly on enemies like the statue or the mimic, so he's just going to skip those and come back to them if they do have the key. Probably not a bad idea. He might have just gotten the key drop there, so we'll see. Looks like Sonic is going back for some more repair powder because his weapon broke from having to fight so many enemies. But yeah, that was a pretty good idea. Pretty good play on Ryu's part. He skipped all those mimics that could do a lot of damage to his weapon, defeating the statues that do way less weapon HP damage, and actually ended up finding the key that way. So, very good on his part. Alright, so... There is a benefit to taking out mimics. Mimics can actually drop the Dran's Feather item early. It's a rare drop, but sometimes they can drop that item, and that item pretty much essentially gives you a sprint. So it makes your running speed way faster. So opting not to kill the mimics does sacrifice the chance of possibly finding that item, but I do think the reliability of having better weapon HP, maintaining your repair powder, is probably a better idea for the race setting. So I respect that play. Sonic is back in the dungeon himself. Looks like he got a pretty decent start to his layout. The map shows up on the right side of the screen, and unless you find the map item in a chest, the map kind of reveals itself as you traverse it. So you kind of don't know what the best choice is for traversing through the map until you start to actually move around it. If you can find a dead end on one side of the map away from the exit, like Sonic has here, as you can see on the left side, there's just a quick dead end that appeared. He didn't actually have to, backtrack anywhere to get to this side of the map. It's a pretty good map generation. So this means that since he took care of everything in this room, he opened all the chests, defeated all the enemies, he will not have to come back to this side of the map again. So that's very good for him. So Ryu has left the dungeon himself. Let's see what he's going to be doing out here. I'm not sure if he's collected all of the Atla he needs already, but he still would have to go to floor 8 to get Zhao to actually progress. So he might just be coming out right now to get some supplies. Okay, yes. It looks like he is missing Zhao, so he will have to come back to get Zhao on floor 8 before he can actually progress to the next part of the run. But he's going to start building everything. He might just be going ahead and building Gaffer's Buggy. It looks like he does have all the pieces for Gaffer's Buggy, so this is going to be the first instance of the shop that we see here. So it looks like he's probably just leaving early to build the shop up so he can start getting some supplies to get him through the rest of the dungeon. Alright, so yeah, Pike is going to help Odd Gaffer actually finish building the shop here. So with his help, it makes Gaffer able to sell more items. So now Gaffer is going to be able to sell a large quantity of items. He's got all of this inventory full of items that he can buy. Ryu is going to go ahead and opt to sell all the useless attachments and items that he has to buy some repair powders, revival powder, Dran's feather. These are the basics that you'll see throughout most of this run here. So he's just buying these items and setting them in his active item slot so that he can use them within the dungeon. So the bombs are very useful items to take care of strong enemies. Okay, there we go. He took off the... Okay, interesting. He took off the garnet, and he's going to use the dagger for the rest. That's interesting. Okay. But yeah, the bombs are really useful for strong enemies. It pretty much one-shots them. It saves you a lot of weapon HP. The repair powder keeps your weapon alive. It's very, very necessary to use for the rest of the run. And the Dran's Feather, like I said earlier, it gives you a sprint that makes you move much faster. So probably not a bad idea to go ahead and get all of this stuff now. But Sonic is kind of inching closer. It is a little bit of a time loss to leave and purchase those things early. If Sonic can make it through the rest of the dungeon without having to do all that, it could prove to be a benefit for him. But he is just about to enter floor 7 himself. Ryu just did enter floor 7, but the thing is, Ryu is entering floor 7 with all of this extra gear now. So things could be a lot different now for Ryu. He could be edging ahead a lot more with these items that he just purchased. Sonic may have to leave again soon to restock his items, but floor 7 is the final floor before the next quick time event. Ooh, and Ryu got gooed. So, very, very unfortunate. If you get hit by the goo status, your movement speed slows extremely badly, so it pretty much nullifies the sprint that you get from the Dran's Feather, which is so unlucky. So, I mean, I guess it was a good thing that he went and purchased that Dran's Feather early, because if he didn't, he would be moving at like 0.25 speed or something terrible like that, 0.5 speed. So yeah, that was quite unlucky, but it looks like Sonic also had some bad luck. He just had to leave the floor. But hey, look at that. So, Dran's Crest, we just found the gate key on Ryu's side of things. Not terrible, even with the goo. Ryu's gonna opt to use his revival powder to get rid of the goo status. I definitely respect that play. Not a bad idea at all. If you pretty much get destroyed or defeated by an enemy, it removes any status effects you had, and since Ryu purchased that revival powder, it automatically revives you once you get defeated. So he kind of uses that to his advantage to remove the goo status. But surprisingly, Ryu is not using his Dran's Feather right now. He's just kind of chilling, moving through the dungeon at normal speed. If you hold square while you have this item in your active inventory, it's actually going to make you run insanely fast. So he hasn't started using that yet. He just entered floor 7, and so did Sonic. So Sonic is kind of doing the same thing. He's going to sell the items that he had here, and he's going to purchase some useful stuff. Maybe not. It looks like he's going to sell a little bit of extra things here. Let's see. There we go, yeah, good idea selling that turquoise, it's not going to help. So he's going to buy 2 revival powders, probably 3 or 4 Dran's Feathers, a bunch of bombs, and a bunch of repair powders. So that's the staple items that you need for the run. And not bad, he got a pretty good stock of the items, much more money than Ryu had, because I guess he had opened a lot more chests, got a lot more useful items to sell. But yeah, as you can see, Ryu just finished floor 7, now he's on the next cutscene floor, floor 8. So after this floor, you're actually going to get access to your next ally. So Ryu has pretty much collected all of the Atla that he needs to progress through the game. He just needs to finish this quick time event so that he can get the ally to finish building the house that has the ally for progression. Future Trunks duel, indeed. Alright, so... Nice, got perfect on the quick time event, so that's going to reward him with another gem. Let's see what luck he gets this time. Ruby, not particularly useful for Utan %, but not bad for later. Ruby gives you plus 10 fire. That's mostly what's important about it. The other stats, not super duper helpful, but the fire does help once you're in the next dungeon. Wise Owl Forest, so not a bad gem to get at all. You're always going to be looking for attack gems in Utan %, because your main goal is just to defeat things quickly and get to the next floor as fast as you can, rather than actually building your weapon and upgrading it to a different form. That's usually what we would do in Glitchless, for example, just full game run. But since we're only ending the run at the second dungeon, we don't particularly have to worry about upgrading our weapon to a new form. We can just kind of, pump it with as much strength as we can to get through. So getting a ruby is like, so-so. The fire helps, but that's about it. So Sonic is still making his way through floor 7. Looks like he may have just finally found a weapon, which he really needed, because if you get to floor 8 and 9 without a weapon, things get really dicey. So he got a Crisp Knife, which is really good. It's probably one of the better weapons in this version of the game. Has a lot of weapon durability and a pretty decent attack stat, so it's nice that he got that. Ryu just went ahead and left the dungeon after collecting the ally Zhao. So Zhao was going to be placed into Ryushon's house, so the main character's house. He's going to go ahead and finish building it, and he's going to place the kitty he just got, Stray Cat, into the house, and he's going to get the cutscene that allows him to get the ally. So looks like Sonic is checking to make sure he still needs to pick up any Atla. He looks like he's going to go ahead and go back to pick up that Atla that's across the map there. It's very unfortunate luck to have an Atla on the opposite end of the map like that when you still need things. But he does have the Dran's Feather, so he can get there quite quickly. As you can see, the sprint's taking effect with the Dran's Feather item. You do move a lot faster. And it was a lamp. I don't know if that's what he needed, but it will take that out of the Atla pool for the next floors that he might have to return to if he hasn't already. So Ryu gave Zhao the changing potion that Future Trunks, aka Seda, aka man being controlled by the Dark Genie, gave him. So he gave the cat the changing potion. It turns into your ally Zhao, and she is probably the best character in the game, but I am not sure if we'll be seeing her used in this run. It all really depends on the luck that you get when it comes to weapon chests. If you find a slingshot in a chest, which is her weapon of choice, slingshots, if you find a very powerful one, it will be worth it to use her for the rest of the run. But if you don't, then we're going to have to keep rocking Tone, the main character here. But he went ahead and got Zhao. Now he's going to go ahead and stock up on the rest of the items that he needs to progress through the next 8 floors or so. So it looks like he doesn't have a ton of money, which is unfortunate. But let's see what he's going to buy with the little money he does have. He's going to get some repair powders. He definitely needs some revival powders, but we'll see if he skips that. Ooh. Looks like he did skip out on some revival powders, but you do need bombs just as much as you need the rest. So the thing is, if you don't have revival powders, some of these enemies on the upcoming floors can be quite dangerous, and if you get knocked out, you're going to have to leave the dungeon and come back. So that would be pretty bad if, let's say, you already found the key and you're about to leave. If you get knocked out by an enemy, you don't have a stand-in powder, you don't have a revival powder, you just got to leave and find the key all over again. So it looks like Ryu is going to be going super risky mode and not having an extra revival powder. So if he pulls this off, it will be pretty gamer, I won't lie, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Sonic has definitely a leg up on Ryu in terms of inventory. Right now, Sonic made a lot more money than Ryu did with his item finds and sold the right things. So he's not too far behind right now. He's maybe only about a minute 30 or so behind, but that could flip so quickly in this run, especially with you know, a lack of supplies on Ryu's part. All right, let's see if Sonic gets a good gem to put himself ahead as well. So he just finished the quick time event with a perfect, and let's see what he's got. So Sonic gets a Sapphire. Unfortunate. Still not useful for this run particularly. Sapphire gives you wind, it gives you magic power. Not really good stats to use at this point in the game. It's only really, those types of gems are only really good if you plan on evolving your weapon and transforming it to a different form. And we don't really do that here in this category too often. But it is a good source of money. If you don't have any attack gems, like if you don't actually get a Garnet or a Peridot or something or a Topaz from these quick time events, you can just straight up sell those gems. And those gems are worth a lot of money. They're worth 600 gold each. And that is a huge stock of items that you could buy with that. So it's not the worst thing to not get attack gems. It just means that you're going to have more money for sustainability for things like Revival Powder, Repair Powder, those sorts of things. So that kind of is what puts Sonic's inventory up on Ryushon's, is that he was able to sell his turquoise where Ryu wasn't able to sell his garnet, because the garnet gives the attack that he needs to get through. So now Ryushon is on floor 9. This is the first floor following the addition of the new ally. So this floor here, basically from floor 9 to 15, you're going to be looking for very few items. All you really want to get is the pieces of Dran's Windmill. And that is, I think it's like Dran's Bone, Dran's Feather, or not Dran's Feather, what is it? Dran's Windmill itself, Dran's Bone. Let me see here. I gotta pull out the guide. I've been playing too much of the Japanese version, so I don't even remember the names of these things in English. Let's see. Alright. Sign. Okay, nothing useful from Ryushon so far. Alright, let's see what we need. So, okay, here it is. It's Dran's Windmill, Dran's Horn, Dran's Bone, Torch, and Sign. That's what they're both looking for from this point on. Unfortunately, Sonic had to go back to floor 2. He did opt to skip some Atla earlier because he got a really good key drop, and this is what can happen if you do that. It can actually haunt you. You might have to return back to a previous floor to find it, which can be a little bit of a time loss, but it looks like he found the Atla he needed right away, so he didn't have to run around the floor and try to find different Atla spawns. He just found it right when he entered. So that's the best case scenario in that situation. So now he can build his house and get the ally himself. Alright, so now we're going to get the cutscene on Sonic's part. Ryu is just fighting his way through the floors here. Unfortunately, enemies can start to block a lot from this point on. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of runs of the Japanese version, and enemies do not block in that version, so it's funny for me to see that that is an actual issue you have to deal with in this game. It is unfortunate. Some enemies can do major damage to your weapon HP if they're blocking. Thankfully, the skeleton soldiers are not too big of a problem with that, but something like a Mimic, for example, if a Mimic blocks your attacks, your weapon HP can get shredded real fast. So he did find the key, so now he's just searching for Atla here, trying to find those Dran pieces I was mentioning earlier. It looks like he hasn't found any just yet. And in this part here, this part can be very polarizing. Like the second half of the dungeon, you can find those like 5 Atla pieces you need right away, and you don't even have to look for Atla anymore if you find them. But unfortunately, like I said, Ryu hasn't had super good luck in finding those yet. He's already on the second floor of the second half, and he hasn't really found any. He may have to end up going through the entire floor searching for Atla, which, if Sonic, for example, finds those pieces very quickly, he can get a leg up on Ryu and actually pull back ahead. So we'll see how this turns out. We got Laura's house. So there are a couple items additional to the Dran's windmill pieces that are useful to get. Laura's house and Hag's house both are pretty good to have. They give you a power-up powder, which can level up your weapon with the press of a button instead of having to collect experience from defeating enemies. So, not too bad, but now we're on the limited floor. So this may also be pretty polarizing for Ryu as well, because Ryu's inventory is not as stacked as Sonic's right now. Ryu only has 4 bombs. So basically, limited zones are floors that have some sort of stipulation. Uh-oh, he got a chest. Let's see if it's a slingshot. Ah, Shamshir again. Unfortunate. But limited zones are basically floors that will have a stipulation to complete the floor. Every dungeon has a limited floor that forces you to play as the opposite ally or your new ally you just collected. As you can see, Zhao is not very powerful on her own right now. Ryu could opt to take the garnet off of his weapon and give Zhao an extra 5 attack, which would make this a lot better. But the 4 bombs that he has right now, oh wow, he just got a great floor. That's amazing. So no problems for Ryu. But the 4 bombs that he purchased were mostly for this floor. It was so that if he ran into a problem where there were too many powerful enemies, he could just throw a bomb and one-shot them. But really what you want here is you want a really good floor. You want to get out of the limited floors that force you to play as the other allies as quickly as possible, because those floors have no Atla. You don't have to actually search for Atla on those floors. So if you can just get the key and leave, that's a huge time save. So that's exactly what happened for Ryu, and that was great RNG for his side of things. Sonic is still in it, though. He just got to floor 9, and he's collecting his first Atla pieces. We'll see if he actually collects any of the pieces for... Oh, wow. He just threw a bomb, and it went straight between the legs of the statue. But we'll see if he collects any pieces for Dran's windmill quickly. There's Dran's bone right away. Okay, nice. So that's pretty good for Sonic's side of things. He's going to cure himself of the poison so that he doesn't have his HP ticking down as he runs through the dungeon. And we'll see what else he gets. If, like I said, if he gets 4 more pieces, if he gets Dran's windmill, torch, sign, and Dran's horn, he's good to go. He doesn't have to search for any more Atla. He can just game out. Yeah, that was a very, very good Zhao floor. Hopefully Sonic gets a good one too, so we can stay a little close in pace here. It looks like Ryu still hasn't really found too many Atla, though, so he's kind of stuck to still searching around for the Dran's windmill pieces. Alright, what else do we get on Sonic's side of things here? So all net for Ryushon and Dran's horn. Yo, see, Sonic he might be pulling this ahead, man. He already has 2 out of 5 things he needs. And he's only 1 floor in. He still has, like, I don't even know, man, like 6 floors to go or something. Yeah, we'll see here. Ryu is getting pretty close to finishing this part of the dungeon. He's on floor 12 out of 15, 15 being the boss floor, so he really only has 2 more floors of dungeon crawling to go before he has to leave. He's been getting pretty good key luck, man. He just got another key drop from those 2 statues. That was very nice on his part. Sonic himself just got a decent key drop, and I think Sonic's going to go ahead and opt to skip that Atla up there. There is an Atla at the top of the map, but since he already found 2 pieces he needs, it's not a bad play at all to just decide to skip that and actually save the time that would have been spent traversing that floor. So we got a clown drop from Ryu, and it gives a small sword. So the small sword is a little bit stronger than the Shamshir, but the thing is, the small sword has bad weapon durability as well. He's already upgraded the Shamshir, so the Shamshir is actually probably the better choice to keep using here. But yeah, you usually want to pick the big box when it comes to those enemies. Oh wow, Sonic is just going full YOLO right now. He said, man, oh well, dude, I got the key, I'm taking advantage of this. He left immediately, so this could blow up in Sonic's face. He did decide to leave right away, which puts him closer to the floor that Ryushon is on right now. As you can see, Sonic went from floor 9 to floor 11 insanely quickly. But the thing is, He just skipped a ton of Atla by just completely skipping an entire floor like that. So it might mean that Sonic might have to come back and find the he might have to come back and find the Dran pieces if he doesn't find them later. But I respect that play. He had to get ahead somehow, and he got the luck to do it. So he decided, whatever, man, let's do it. So not bad, not bad. So far, he's got a pretty good map generation on the Zhao floor here. He's not going to have to backtrack to this side of the map at all. He's just going to be able to go straight towards the exit without backtracking, which is great. He did get some stamina buff for the magic circle since he has the default weapon equipped. And he's got a couple enemies to get through here. Let's see if one of these guys has the key for him. Oh no, Ryushon actually died. No way. See, that's what I was saying earlier, man. Some of the enemies get really dangerous later, and since Ryu did not have a revival powder, he didn't have the money to afford one, he got kicked out of the dungeon. So now he has to actually go back and redo that entire floor. So wow, this actually gives Sonic a huge opportunity to come back ahead. Ryu's going to go ahead and opt to pick up a lot of these attachment items to get some money to sell things, and Sonic just found a power-up powder in a chest. Extremely rare find and can be very helpful for making a strong weapon. So things are going pretty ham right now for the boys. But now we have dragons. So dragons... Okay, nice. He got the key. So cool. He can just straight up leave now. Dragons are very powerful, but bombs one-shot them in this game. Not a huge deal if you have bombs left over. And like I said before, Sonic had a great inventory prepared for the Zhao floor. Ryushon's picking up all these items so he can get some more money, so that he can actually purchase revival powders and things now. So he's going to sell pretty much anything that isn't of immediate use to him. Items like, you know, healing items, bait, throwable items, things like that. He's going to buy a couple more of the feathers. He's definitely getting himself some revival powders this time. And he's selling all these attachments that aren't useful as well. He could sell these weapons. Looks like he's going to go ahead and opt to sell at least the small sword. And he's going to buy himself a lot of bombs. So Sonic is rich right now, man. He has a ton of money. He's just going to buy himself a ton of bombs as well. Stock himself up for the more difficult enemies on the next parts of the floors he's going to be on. And things are actually getting close now because of that death. That death, coupled with Sonic actually skipping all the Atla on that floor. Oh, he skipped 8. Oh no, that's actually brutal. Sonic might actually have to come back to that floor. Like, that is a huge amount of Atla to skip. If you skip Atla like he did, what Sonic did was he got the key right away. Yeah, he skipped 7, right. He got the key right away, but that floor generated 8 Atla. The floor generates a random amount of Atla, totaling to the same amount by the end of the 15th floor. But unfortunately, the floor that Sonic got good key luck on, and he decided, you know what, I got the good key luck, I'm going to leave early and just hope that, you know, this floor didn't generate a ton of Atla. Unfortunately, it generated the maximum amount of Atla that it can, so that's very, very risky and sus for him. But he did get an early key drop. If he can make it through these floors quickly, oh my god, he's going full YOLO, dude. If he can make it through these floors quickly, then it could be fine, you know? Like, he could just decide to come back and search after he's already left, and it won't lose a ton of time if he gets, like, you know, a couple more or something. But yeah, that's messed up, dude. We'll see what happens. This is definitely in the territory of going either way. They're both on floor 13 now. But the difference is Ryu has opened pretty much every Atla available to him, whereas Sonic has skipped a ton of Atla. He has skipped definitely more than 7 by this point. And that could be fine because you only need 5, but as you can see now, it's starting to pay off that Ryu decided to pick up everything because now he's finally starting to find the things he needs. So he just got Dran's Bone. These next few Atla will probably be something he needs as well. But yeah, Sonic is pretty much putting his hope in the RNG gods right now that they bless him with some good luck because he's skipped so much stuff, man. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. If he gets lucky, this could be great for Sonic, but the chances of it happening are very slim, unfortunately. And yes, Pepperoni, you can do that. That's basically the strategy that Sonic is opting to do right now. He's opting to just skip everything that he can and leave to the next floor as early as possible. And if he just so happens to not get what he needs, he's just going to return back and pick them up. But the problem with doing that is the map gets re-rolled every time that happens. So, you know, you could rejoin the floor and all the Atla could be behind a chest door or like a bone door or something. Or, you know, it could take much longer to find the Atla that you skipped than it would have on the original floor that you went on, if that makes sense. Like, the map generation can be worse and make you run a longer distance to find everything. Like, there's a lot of factors that could make it more risky for saving time. But we'll see what happens. He still has 2 out of the 5 he needs, so if he gets 3 of them here, which would be ridiculously lucky, then he's gaming. But it looks like he's probably going to have to go back to the previous floors to look. Ryu's still doing pretty good himself. He's pretty much on pace to find what he needs right now. There's the torch. So I'm not sure if Ryu has everything now. It's hard to track what Atla both players have at the same time, but I think he still needs maybe 1 or 2 more things. Maybe not, though, because he's not picking them up. So I think he does have everything he needs now. He's just looking for the key. Sonic's getting very bad luck with the Atla that he's finding right now. Yeah, if Sonic only needs 2 more things, then it honestly makes a lot of sense that he decided to skip everything. But it's kind of coming back to bite him now, because now he's going to have to go back and search for more Atla pieces. It is a risky play to make in a race, but hey, I mean, you got to do what you got to do if you're behind. You know, it could have paid off for him, and he could have been way ahead, so I respect it. Okay. Ryu might have forgotten that he already had everything he needed. He picked up another Atla. Yeah, super unlucky for Sonic. He hasn't found anything that he needs on this floor. He's probably going to have to go back to the floor that he skipped 7 on. And Ryu found Hag's house. Hag's house is another power-up powder house, so that's pretty dang good for him. But yeah, now Ryu is going to be able to build Dran's windmill. He's going to actually be able to get all the items he needs to defeat Dran, including the horned key, which opens up the boss arena. So he's dropping down Hag's house to pick up that power-up powder inside, just to give him an extra level up on a weapon if he needs it. So Sonic is also leaving the dungeon at a similar time to Ryu, but the difference here is Ryu has everything he needs. Sonic's still searching for Atla, so very unfortunate for Sonic, but he's not out the race yet. He could definitely find all these quite quickly and be right back in it. It just all depends on luck, so we'll see how it goes. Why Utan in particular? Just because it's a pretty fair race length. It's about 2 hours or so, which is, you know, a decent length for 2 players to race. Man, he skipped so many. That's so unfortunate. If it would have worked out, it would have been great for him. But unfortunately, the game had other plans for our boy. But it's okay. Sonic is simply going to find both of the pieces he needs right now, and he's right back in it. Right, guys? That's how it works. So Ryu's placing Dran's windmill after building it here. So Dran's windmill is going to play a little cutscene that shows the windmill's back in action. The windmill has the horn key inside that lets you fight Dran. And Sonic is still searching. It looks like he's still getting unlucky. So unfortunate. Okay, he did find the, yeah, see, this is an example of how it can go worse for you to skip Atla, because now the map is making him run all the way on the opposite side again, and go behind a locked door to find the last Atla piece. Like, the map generation can work against you if you have to return back to look for Atla again. So that's exactly what's happening to him. He's just not getting the luck that he needs right now. But yeah, we're going to be using the pocket on Ryu's side of things. It gives you some extra inventory space. He's going to be giving himself his defense items Fish Candy goes for Zhao. Fluffy Donut goes for Tone. These increase your defense so you don't get destroyed later in the next dungeon. And Ryu is actually opting to use the Fruit of Edens early, so Fruit of Eden will increase your maximum amount of HP that you have, but the thing is, they also heal your HP to full. So what a lot of players will do, you'll probably see Sonic do this because he's a glitchless runner. What a lot of players will do is they'll opt to hold on to those Fruit of Edens until they need to heal, and they'll use it as a 2-for-1, like a healing item and increasing your max HP. But Ryu just wanted to get those out of his inventory, go ahead straight away and heal. He's purchasing the gear that he needs to get through the next part of the dungeon. Okay, there we go. Sonic has the sign, so he only needs one more item, I believe. But yeah, Ryu is pretty much stocked and ready to go for Dran. Dran is weak to ice, so I don't know if Sonic has an ice attachment available to use. Oh, he looks like he does have the torch. Yeah, so, wow, okay, not bad. So Sonic is caught up already. He's not too far behind. He's got to do the cutscenes and everything that, you know, that Ryu just went through, but he didn't have to search multiple floors, so not too bad. Alright, he's getting the extra fish candy from the pond. That will give Zhao a little bit more defense than just picking up the one from the windmill. And the way you defeat Dran in this game is you have to knock Dran out of the air with a slingshot. And then once you do so, you run up to Dran with Tone. If you have a stamina drink, this is a good time to use it. He does have one. He should definitely repair his weapon lest it breaks here, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so yeah, you want to try to do a single slash and turn it into a charge slash at the same time. So you slash, hold X, and then do a charge attack. That will kind of give you the opportunity to loop Dran. It'll kind of put him in like an infinite. So it's kind of hard to do though, but nice. He had enough damage to get Dran taken care of quite quickly, so not bad. Dran flying away one time is not a huge deal at all. It's not a huge time loss. But yeah, he's already done with the first dungeon, so now he's going to be getting ready to head to Masataki Village to meet Goro and head into the Wise Owl Forest. Meanwhile, Sonic is here organizing his inventory because he has a lot of gear, but hasn't used a ton of it because he's been getting really good key luck. He hasn't really had to use a ton. So it's kind of crowding his inventory. He's having to discard some stuff to be able to pick things up in here. He's picking up all these attachments here so that he can sell them for money for better items like bombs and things like that. So he's going to pick up the donut and the fish candy as well, and he's probably going to go into the mayor's house to get the pockets and all the extra stuff from inside. And then Sonic will be making his way over to fight Dran himself, so not too bad, not too bad. All right. So he actually didn't have any space for that prickly he picked up from the cutscene, so it forced him into his inventory to make room. That is pretty funny. So it would be in Sonic's best interest to use this pocket right now, yeah, so that he doesn't keep having this problem. And he's probably going to sell some stuff once he can to make room. He does have a ton of power-up powder. He has 4. Normally at this point in the game, you would only have 2 to 3. Depending on what Atla you found, but he has quite a bit because he found some in the dungeon as well from chests. So he's gonna go into his house. He's picking up the Fruit of Eden. He's gonna get the bread, and there's an attack attachment up here. He gets attack +1. Not a great roll on that. It can be from +1 to +3. So he got +1. Kind of meh, but it's fine. So now he's going to sell all of his extra junk and start buying bombs. He already has a ton of repair powder. He might even need to sell some of that, honestly. But we'll see. Alright, Ryu cleared the Goro QuickTime event with an excellent, which is kind of difficult for some people. Some people find that diagonal input kind of hard, but very nice to clear that. He got an opal from it, which is not a good gem, unfortunately, by any stretch, even if you're trying to build up your weapon. But it is a good source of money. It sells for 600. Not bad. So now he's naming Goro. And now Sonic is also going back to fight Dran himself. So let's see how Sonic does against Dran. Looks like Sonic also does have the equipment that he needs to get through this with no issue. He has the ice attachment. He didn't get super good rolls on the attack, but it should be fine because Dran is weak to ice, so it'll kind of make up the difference in damage. But Ryu definitely had a much stronger weapon going into Dran, so this might take a tiny bit longer for Sonic. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't really want to have your inventory full at any point because you, like, it could be a micro time save if it was the last item you picked up, but most of the time you would just want to avoid that because it's not worth having to sort and use items there. Alright, so knocking Drain out of the sky here, and does he have stamina? I didn't see. I don't think he does. Oh, he has two. Okay, nice. So this will be pretty quick for Sonic as well. He's gonna opt for the charge slash first. And nice. Okay, he's not going for the charge loop. He's going for the single slash loop, which is a little bit sketchier. As you can see, Dran was able to get away because of that. But still did pretty good damage, so this should end like right now if everything goes well. Meanwhile, we have Ryu entering the dungeon for the first time. Okay, nice. Sonic was able to pull off that slash loop, no problem. Alright, so now that we are in Wise Owl Forest on Ryushon's side of things, Sonic will be there shortly as well. He's just got to go through everything Ryu just did with the cutscenes and whatnot. But Wise Owl Forest is a troll dungeon, so this dungeon doesn't only have one gate key, it has 3 gate keys. So this dungeon is gate kept by a mean old stinky owl that hates you so much sometimes. Basically, this owl will accept one of 3 keys at random. So you can find 3 different keys here. You can find the berry, the chestnut, or the shiny stone. So depending on what the owl feels like taking that day, you know, he could take the first key you find right away, and great, you know, I don't have to search and find more keys. Or he could just decline both keys and make you search for a whole nother one. So ideally, it is best if you can get as many keys as you can before you find the owl for the first time. Or let's say if you're right next to the exit and you find a key, you want to try that key immediately. So if the owl does accept the key, then you don't have to keep fighting enemies and wasting time. But Ryu's already found 2 of the 3 keys here. He still hasn't found the exit just yet, but because he's already, like, you know, he's already found 2 of 3 keys, he's just going to keep defeating enemies until he gets to that exit point. He did find the sundew in a chest. So the sundew is an item that you need to progress as well. You can get the sundew from a story point location, from one of the houses you can build here, but it is faster to find it in a chest. So that's a good little time save for him. Another stamina drink, that's a great find as well. Don't really need it for any other point in this run particularly, but if he wanted to use it to, you know, defeat some enemies quicker, he could. So now we'll get to see, will the owl take the berry? He did. So the owl took the first key that he found. So that means that Ryu can stop searching for keys now. He doesn't have to look for the shiny stone at all because he's already taken the key that gets him to the next floor. So Ryu's just going to go ahead and just keep searching for Atla before he leaves. So Sonic is doing the quick time event here. Let's hope he gets it perfect. Ah, he missed it just barely. It's that diagonal, man. It's hard. So Sonic is going to be missing out on a gem here, unfortunately. But I like to say, you know, when that happens to me in a run, the rare case that I decide, like, or the rare case that I miss that diagonal, I'm just like, you know what? Let's just pretend that that gem wasn't going to be useful anyways. You know, whatever. But it does suck because he's not going to get the 600 from the gem. Even if it were useless, he won't get that 600 gold. But, I mean, Sonic's inventory is really stacked right now, so it's not even a huge deal. If he misses out on that money, he's got plenty of supplies to get himself through this. Ryu is on the second floor already, so he's got a pretty chunky lead over Sonic, but Sonic's the YOLO king, you know? He might just decide, whatever, dude, we just gotta full send it. He might just YOLO this dungeon as well. This dungeon is a little bit dangerous to YOLO because you need a lot of stuff. Like, you need a ton of Atla to actually progress to the next floor. Specifically, the rivers are kind of annoying to YOLO and skip. There's 5 rivers you need to collect, and it can get really bad really quick. So you need, I think it's 17 Atla total to be able to progress. You need 17 specific Atla. That's a lot compared to the previous dungeon. For example, on floor 8, you only needed, or after floor 8 in Dran's Cavern, you only needed 5 Atla. So, it's better to YOLO on the second half of Wise Owl Forest if he's going to do that, because you only need 3 Atla there. But yeah, we'll see, you know, what happens. He might decide, you know, I gotta catch up somehow. He might just full send it, or he might play safe from this point on. Because, again, anything can happen on Ryu's side of things as well. Ryu could get really bad luck somewhere, just get unfortunate key luck, whereas Sonic could get the owl to accept the key the first try every time. We'll see. There's a lot of different outcomes that could happen here. But Sonic has finally made his way inside the dungeon. He's going to opt to replace that ice with fire, because most things in this dungeon are weak to fire over ice. These little pockles here, these guys are weak to wind, but the plant-based enemies, which you'll start to see a lot more often, are weak to fire. So it's just generally a better choice to go with fire here. Like you see, Ryushon's fighting the Flea, he's fighting the cannibal plants. Those guys are weak to fire. So Sonic already found a key, and let's see what he's getting in these Atla here. Right, nothing of use just yet. Okay, looks like he may have gotten another key drop, or it could be an item. He's going to go ahead and opt to upgrade the attack attachments into his weapon so he can fit more attachments on top. So, not a bad idea. Especially if this is going to be his main weapon of choice for the rest of the run. It's fine to go ahead and upgrade. Oh, wow. So, Ryushon found the Bandit Slingshot, so this is very, very good for him. Like, the Bandit Slingshot is probably one of the most polarizing things that can happen in this race, because look how broken it is. It has 38 attack. Well, 30 attack base, but he's got enough attachments to make it 38. And it eliminates the need to have to kind of play around the enemy's AI. You can just kind of stay from afar, snipe all these enemies, and run and gun with Xiao. So that find is going to put Ryu in a very good spot for the rest of this race, especially if Sonic can't find a slingshot himself. It's going to edge him ahead slowly on every single floor because the combat is just going to be much faster for him. So nice for Ryushon. Very good luck for him. Hopefully Sonic can find some good luck as well to get him caught up. Sonic's getting some pretty good key drops, but we need to get a better weapon, like a slingshot, or we need to get some good Atla finds right off the bat. Alright. So Ryu's hitting floor 3 right now. He ended up having to defeat all the enemies for the rest of the keys, and it's a good thing that he did, because the owl did not accept anything but the last key, so that's exactly the type of trolling that can happen here. The owl can just be picky and be like, nah, I don't really feel like having a berry right now. I kind of want the chestnut. I kind of want the shiny stone. And he can exhaust all of your keys until the very last one, so it's not always a bad idea to just search for all the keys, but if you can come across the exit early when you already have a couple keys in your inventory and test if he wants them, it's a good thing to do that. But Sonic, let's see if he gets trolled similarly. Okay, you got the second key, but Sonic already had all 3, so didn't really get any enemy time save there. But it's fine. You know, it's safe to get all the keys. Sonic's playing a little bit safer now, it seems. Okay, so we got a thirst limited zone, which is interesting. It just means that his thirst is going to drain a little bit quicker, which, if it hits 0, his HP is going to start depleting as he's running around, which, not a huge deal. He's got revival powders and everything. But as you can see, Sonic's already next to the exit, so if he finds some keys here, he can test the keys that he gets in this room, if any, to see if the owl will take them. And if he does take them, he can save some time on attacking enemies. But like I said before, Ryu is already saving a ton of time just not having to interact with enemies close up and just being able to snipe them from afar. And he got some incredible key drops himself there, 2 keys back to back. And also, Zhao, with the Bandit Slingshot, is just so much more powerful, too. Like, she will one-shot to 2 or 3 shot most of these enemies, like, no big deal. Usually 1 or 2 shots with the attachments that he has, like the Garnet and whatnot. But we'll see. Sonic's gonna go ahead and test these keys. And yes, nice. So the owl actually accepted the first key that he found, so that's a perfect example of how that can go right. So Sonic might opt to YOLO here. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like he's not. It looks like he's just going to search around for some Atla just in case. It looks like he is just going to make sure he's not skipping too much like he did last time. It's not a bad thing to skip in this area, but as it was mentioned before, the rivers in particular have a better chance of spawning in later floors, so skipping stuff early, it can kind of shuffle them around to where you'll have to return for them. I've had that happen myself in plenty of glitchless runs, and it's pretty brutal. Alright, so Ryu's just searching the exit now. He did find the exit, but he's going to keep looking for the rest of the Atla as well. Alright. See what key situation's looking like. Nice, he accepted the first key for Ryu. Very good. Didn't have to find the third one. Having 2 keys, pretty much it's like a 33% chance for a key to get accepted. And each time you roll it, so like let's say you use 1 key, it's a 33% chance. There's I think it's like a 60% chance or something like that. After that, 66, and then like the last one is just going to be accepted. So it's pretty brutal. But getting the first key is very nice. If you have 2 keys that are taken and then you have to run away, then it's pretty bad. Like, you're going to have to find an entirely separate third key. You're going to have to go all the way around to find that last enemy that's holding it. But yeah, that is more correct. It's just, when you have all 3, it's like, you know, 33% chance, and then yeah, if there's 2 left, you have half the chance, and then 100, yeah. Alright. So, we got a pretty good layout on Sonic's part. He hasn't found any keys just yet, so he can't really test anything from what I can see. But he might find one next to the exit and be able to test. This is a little bit of a bad map generation for Sonic, because it means that he's going to have to backtrack all the way to the other side of the map to get to the exit again. But hopefully he finds some keys on the way here so that he can go back and test while he's not too far from it. Yeah, the Bandit Slingshot is doing some good work for Ryu right now. He's not having a hard time dealing with some of these enemies. Sonic still has a pretty good weapon. He has the Crisp Knife, but he doesn't have a ton of like attack attachments or anything for it. Ryu had gotten the Garnet, which is, like I said, the best gem that you can get. It gives you plus 10 fire, plus 10 beast, and I think it's also, what's the other thing? It might be rock, which isn't a huge deal. Yeah, it's rock, but the beast and the fire help a ton in this dungeon on top of the extra attack, so Unfortunately, Sonic didn't get a huge gem buff or anything like that, so he's just kind of going through with a little bit of a weaker weapon. His combat's taking a little bit longer while Ryu is just sniping everything easily. Sonic's gonna go ahead and upgrade this weapon still. Looks like he's just gonna put a couple attachments in to help it out. Yeah, you're not usually going to be able to build the double impact in this dungeon. Even in like a regular full game run, like you need too much stuff to pump into it for that to happen. You would have to get like super duper good gems and also get a ton of drops in the second half. It's just not worth even spending the time to upgrade to double impact here. All right. So, good key drops on Ryushon's side, it looks like. He's already gotten a key. Got some good Atla here. Yeah, the double impact can't be found in this dungeon. You're able to find it, I think, starting from the third dungeon. Alright. So Sonic is almost on floor 4. He's just gonna collect the rest of the Atla here, and he's also just kind of taking out everything he can come across. Ryu got Bandit like 2 or 3 floors ago, so he just got it like in this dungeon. So he's starting to see like the huge buff in time save now. He's 2 floors ahead now with the Bandit helping get rid of the combat difficulties. Alright, so Sonic's gonna head out now. He definitely has all the keys that he needs at this point. He's taken out most of the enemies. He's playing very safe at this point now. And he took the first key. Unfortunately, this is the English version. In the Japanese version of the game that I've been playing a ton, you can hold on to the keys you didn't use in the next floor. So, unfortunately, that's not a factor here. You're going to have to find all the keys anyways every time you go to a new floor. It would have been really nice for him if that were the case, but, you know, this is the traditional English version, so he's got to find them all over again. But this is the Zhao floor. He could have a chance of pulling ahead a little bit if he gets an early key acceptance here. Nah, the Japanese version is honestly a lot more, it's not buggy, it's just programmed differently, and it kind of makes certain things a little bit more difficult. But won't go too deep into it here because we're focused on the race. The English version differences are what's important at the moment, but yeah, there's just some funny differences that would make this race go a lot differently if it were played on a different version. It was just kind of funny to point it out. Unfortunate, Ryu did not get the key accepted, but he did try it since he's right next to the exit. It was worth trying. He's still got the bandit, so he's going to go ahead and destroy everything on his way, take any keys that he can find. Yeah, it is a totally different game for sure. It's definitely not the same game. Right, exactly. It's not that, you know, that version was made incorrectly. It was just made with different design philosophies in mind. Alright, so we have one key on Sonic's side of things. Ryu just got the keys that he needed to get out of here. He's just going to go ahead and collect everything on his way back to the exit now. Unfortunately, Sonic has gotten some pretty bad luck with finding the exit early. There it is. So let's see if it'll take his keys. Okay, nice. It took the key, so he's not going to have to defeat any other enemies, but it would have been great if the exit spawned a little bit closer to the start so he didn't have to run so far. But still not too bad. Not the worst ever. He had bombs to take care of the enemies, so it didn't cause any slow combat to occur, really. Alright, so Territory 5. So he actually ended up catching up. So they're both on floor 5. Ryu is going to end up on floor 6 now because he just finished the floor, but he's not too far behind. Sonic is not really far behind at all. If he decides to YOLO a floor, they could be dead even again. So we'll see what happens here. He did just find a key. If he can find an exit nearby and the owl takes it, then he could pull it ahead or be right on pace with Ryu at the moment. Ryu's checking to see if he has the Atla that he needs to get out of here. He's still missing a fair bit of things, because usually you don't really have everything in this part until the later half, until the last few floors. He still needs a couple rivers. He still needs, looks like, I think he needed the mushroom house. He closed the menu super quick, so I didn't get to see everything he was missing, but he needs a few quite important Atla before he can just decide to stop opening things. So, Sonic found another key. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, rivers usually drop mostly on floor 8, but they can drop on any floor. I've gotten 3 river drops by like floor 4 or 5 one time. It's weird how they are. It's kind of weird how they are about that. I feel like it's just because it's one Atla type that has so many that you need to pick up that, you know, it kind of seems like you're going to end up picking them up mostly by the end a lot of the time. But they aren't programmed to be static or anything on floor 8. They are programmed to be able to be found anywhere. Supposedly. Yeah, most of the time you'll end up finding all of them by the last few floors, but you see Ryushon just found a river himself, so he already has 3 by floor 6. So that's pretty decent. Alright, we got Mimic floors on Sonic's side. Mimics are a pain to deal with the sword. Just so annoying. But he took him out. We're schmoving, we're schmoving. Ryu's kind of just speeding through things right now. He's already almost done with floor 6. Sonic is just finishing floor 5. This is a huge difference that you get from using a slingshot versus a sword. The combat is just much faster. You can just kind of get through floors so much faster. Okay, there we go. Ryu found Cacao house. That's another very important piece. Yeah, you also have to menu a lot less when you have a slingshot too. When you have the sword, you have to constantly go in your inventory and use repair powder. But as you can see, Sonic just used the Fruit of Eden as a healing item on top of increasing his max HP for Tone. So it's good to hold on to those for that reason rather than using them early. Alright, Ryu got the key accepted. He's going to go ahead and head to the next floor. He's doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. We're almost out of the first half of the dungeon on Ryu's side of things here. We've got this floor left, and then I think one more floor after it of dungeon crawling. Yeah, we get out on floor 9, so good progress on Ryu's side. Sonic's not doing too bad himself. He just really needs to get a good break with weapons. If he got a slingshot, things would be really nice for Sonic right now too, but the owl is trolling. The owl just took his 2 keys and said, nope, not today, buddy. So now we have to keep looking for keys. Thankfully, there's only a couple more enemies left, so he's pretty much guaranteed to find it, like, within these next 2 or 3 enemies, depending on if there's any mimics left. Okay, there it is. So nice. He can just get out of here right after that. Alright, so there we go. So now Sonic is hitting floor 6. Ryu is already starting floor 7. That run and gun Zhao strategy is just so powerful, man. So the exit is nearby, and he just got some keys, so he's going to probably go ahead and test these and see if he's able to stop fighting things. Looks like he got 1 key, and it was not accepted. So he's just going to keep going through, looking. He's opening these big chests still. These big chests can give you a gem in the small box, if you're lucky, which could increase your attack even further. Unfortunately, he did not get the good luck there, but he already has the bandit, so it's only extra credit at that point if you get an extra gem that actually has attack, so it is what it is. It's not too big of a deal. So Ryu is just dashing through. He's not opting to swap to Tone until he's already defeated all the enemies in his pathway. It is a little bit better to do it that way rather than, you know, switching to Tone, picking up Atla, switching to Zhao, killing enemies, switching back to Tone. It's just better to kind of run down the line, defeat everything on the way, and then pick up all the Atla on your way back as Tone. It's a lot quicker that way. You save the time in having to transition between your allies multiple times. So that's what he's doing here. Now he's going to go ahead and pick up all the Atla. And he most likely did get the rest of the keys to drop. He heard those sound effects. You see the bright shiny dot on the map. Yeah, there's one of the keys, and he's got another one at the upper end of the map as well. Probably a key. There is a chance that it could have just been a regular item drop because this game is funny. And it doesn't have a distinguishing like visual feature or anything, or even a distinguishing sound effect between a regular item drop and a key drop. It frustrates me so much. So he could get to the top of the map here, and it could just be like a little item bag, and he might have to run back and find another enemy. But he was, you know, everything's good. He did find the key. He's not going to have to go out of his way to find another enemy here, but he's going to have to make some room in his inventory because he doesn't have space for it. Just going to get rid of some extra stuff here just to make space for the future. Sonic's still making his way through here. He's almost done with floor 6. So he's basically just like 1.5 floors behind Ryu right now. He's been keeping a steady pace. He hasn't really gotten like a huge disadvantage. Not having a slingshot is a pretty big disadvantage, but in terms of like traversing the floors, getting the keys and everything like that, he hasn't had like a really bad disadvantage. It's just that, you know, Ryu was able to get the edge over him with the slingshot, and he's just kind of been holding that lead ever since. So Ryu's doing pretty good. Sonic's also doing pretty good at keeping up the pace, not falling behind too badly. But right now, this floor is kind of trolling. He's got 2 Atla behind the locked door, so he's got to find the mustache key. He's also got a lot of enemies to defeat here to find the key to exit out of here. Yeah, that is a huge problem with the bandit slingshot. You don't have a ton of inventory space this early on. At most, you have access to 3 pockets, but it's typically faster to skip one of them. Usually I get 2 of them. I get the one inside of the mayor's house, and then I climb Gora's ladder and get the one inside his house because it spawns early. You don't have to get halfway through the dungeon to spawn it. It's just there from the start. So I'll usually get those 2 if I do have a bandit, but Ryu did not get the bandit until he already entered this dungeon, so he kind of didn't have that foresight to think like, oh yeah, maybe I should get this extra pocket. He just was like, well, you know, I don't have a bandit yet. It's not going to be a big deal. So he's just, yeah, getting problems with inventory being filled up by junk with the steal feature of the bandit slingshot. The other pocket you can get is at Paige's house, but going out of your way to find all of the Atla to build Paige's house is just not worth it. And it's like a whole 1.5-minute long cutscene to get that pocket as well, so I usually skip that one. I don't think it's worth picking up, ever. Alright, so let's see if the keys are taken by the mean ol' owl. Nice, dude. Super good luck on Ryu's part. He only had 1 key and it was taken, so that's great. It's going to put him ahead quite a bit. He just has to go... Oh, wow. Ryu might already have all the rivers he needs and everything too. He just skipped the rest of the Atla. It's extremely hard to track the Atla that both players have at the same time. It gets mixed up super easily, but looks like he must have had everything if he just decided to leave right away. If that is the case, that's going to put him quite ahead of Sonic right now. Having everything you need on this floor and then leaving right away on the last floor saves a tremendous amount of time. So Sonic is almost out of the dungeon himself. He's still got floor 8 to go through. I'm not sure how he's doing on Atla, if he needs a bunch of stuff himself, but I think Ryu has 30 rivers? I didn't quite see it. Let's see. Yeah, he has 30. I see it now at the bottom. Alright, nice. So he's going to build the rivers. He's going to place down Mushroom House for later. Cacao's House will give you the item you need to defeat the serpent. And then he's got to pick up the serpent sword from Trient. He's going to give you a free Serpent Sword. Sonic's going to have a lot better of a time once he gets the Serpent Sword as well, because he's going to actually have a good weapon. Thankfully, this game will at least give you a good weapon out of mercy if you haven't found one yourself. I'm not sure if Sonic has been like upgrading this crysknife enough to break it down, but if it is high enough of a level, he does have a ton of repair powder, so he'll probably opt to turn it into a Synth Sphere to attach to the Serpent Sword once he gets it. But yeah, right now, Ryu has to add all the characters into the houses, so he's going to add Cacao and Annie and all them characters into the diorama pieces here, so stairway, torch, sign, laundry, and Cacao. And then you have to actually talk to the characters that are in the diorama pieces, so he's got to talk to Cacao and be like, hey, what else do you want for your house, man? Cacao's going to be like, oh yeah, I need a cabin to store my guitar stuff or whatever. And then from there, he can finish building the house and get the cutscene. So, oh, we got a slingshot? Come on, let's go. Do we got a slingshot? Hey, it's the worst slingshot. Why are you doing my boy like this? See, if this were JP, if this were the Japanese version, that would be PogChamp. But unfortunately, this is English, and the Bandit Slingshot is extremely broken. So getting the Bone Slingshot is just sad. It sucks. The Bone Slingshot only has 8 attack versus the Bandit Slingshot's 30. So yeah, they definitely overtuned the heck out of the Bandit Slingshot in this version. So, I mean, it could still be better. Like I said, like, Sonic does have a ton of power-up powder right now. He has, like, 4. So he could opt to decide to, like, well, you know, I might level up this Serpent Sword one time, and then I'm going to Synth Sphere it onto the Bone Slingshot. That would still be better than running around with the Serpent Sword or the Crysknife. So we'll see what he decides to do. He could turn this into a good play if he uses it right. Having any slingshot is better than no slingshot in Utan %, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see. Yeah, it's kind of weird, like, they made the Bandit Slingshot insanely overpowered in this game for honestly no reason. They didn't buff the rest of the slingshots to kind of keep up with it. It's like once you get the Bandit Slingshot, like you are chilling. Like you have the best weapon available at that point in the game for a very long time. And it's also very easy to build up the Bandit Slingshot in this game. So it just clears the rest of the weapons so much, man. Like it's such a huge advantage to have it. I've always wondered what races of this game would be like if Bandit Slingshot were just removed from the loot pool. Because the Bandit will really, like, polarize the races, like, extremely hard. Like, it'll make it to where, like, if you get a Bandit, you are going to be ahead. Unless the other person also has one. So, it would be interesting to see. Yeah, Sonic's almost done. Looks like he has everything he needs. He's not opening any more Atla, so he's just gonna look for the exit now and try to get out of here. He's not too far behind, really. Like, he's got all these cutscenes and Atla building to go through as well, which is a pretty decent, like, chunk of time he's got to invest, but he's been maintaining the pace. Like I said, he's, like, not fallen, like, super far behind or anything, and he does have a slingshot now, so he could actually pull this ahead. This next half of the dungeon is the most variable. This could swing either way once the next part of the dungeon gets through. So there's only 3 Atla you need to find in this second half of the dungeon. You only need to find second floor, row, and balcony. So you needed to find like 17 different Atla pieces for the first half, which meant that you're going to be searching for Atla pretty much the entire time. But you could get insanely lucky on the second half, and you could find second floor row balcony by, like, the second floor of the second half of the dungeon. So, you know, it could go either way. It all just depends on the luck that the players get. So he got a really good Cacao spawn there. Cacao was right in front of his house. He didn't have to go inside. He didn't have to search around the map for him. So that's nice. He's just going to go ahead and build Cacao's house. He's going to get the Ocarina of Time. I mean, the funny snake ocarina. The odd tune flute. So, Ryushan is not even bothering to go for the perfect at this point because he's already got the bandit and it's already super powerful. So he's going to save the time that it would have. He's going to save the time that would be lost by the text that says, "Oh, excellent, you got this gem," by not getting a perfect on that fight. So he's getting the little charm here left behind by Goro's late father, the Bone Pendant, and he's going to go ahead and give this to Goro to prove that his father has perished in battle. And Goro's dad's going to give him a big old talk, heart to heart, man to man. Look, son, you got to be a goated warrior like me, bro. You got to go out there and save the world. It's your time. So we got a little cutscene to watch with Goro. Yeah, it's a very small time save, but it is time save nonetheless. We take that. All right. So we got exactly 25 rivers here. That's exactly what you need. He's going to go ahead and build this up. I wonder if he's going to pick up the fluffy donut in the corner. There is a fluffy donut that spawns right there. It looks like he is going to get it. There's a donut that spawns right at the top left of this waterfall area. Gives you a little bit of extra defense for tone. But if he's swapping to the slingshot route, he won't really need it. But he did drop Baron's house to give him another power-up powder. So that means that Sonic will have 5 power-up powders. He can immediately turn his Serpent Sword into a Scent Sphere and put it on his Bone Slingshot if he wants. Which will pretty much like help him a ton at, you know, keeping the pace over Ryushon, who has the Bandit Slingshot right now. Yeah, he is going to get the Fluffy Donut. So, let's see. He's getting this power-up powder too, which I think it's behind the house. Yeah, there you go. So now he's going to go back and finish up the rest of things here. He's going to get the Serpent Sword. Ryushon just recruited Goro, so now he's going to go back to Norin Village and start stocking up on items for the rest of the dungeon. So he's going to probably just buy, you know, the staples, some more Dran's Feathers if he needs any, repair powders, and a ton of bombs. He's probably not going to need any powders, really. He's got a ton of, like, Sundew. But he still has a lot of leftover bombs, too, because he had the Bandit Slingshot, so he's actually doing pretty good inventory-wise. He's just going to probably just fill up on leftovers with bombs, revival powder, some feathers, that kind of stuff. But he does have to be mindful of the fact that his inventory is full now, so he's getting rid of a couple things to make some space, and he's going to go straight back to the dungeon. Yes, the Bone Slingshot does have lower max attack, but that isn't a big deal at all, considering how powerful the enemies here are. 35 max attack is plenty enough, especially with the fire attribute equipped, to, you know, be just as effective as the Bandit Slingshot. The Bandit has the potential to one-shot most things, but two-shotting is not that much slower with Zhao. With a high-speed Bone Slingshot, it's really like you're losing like maybe half a second per enemy, which, yes, it does add up, but, you know, if you're getting early key drops and if you're like, you know, finding the Atla that you need pretty quickly, it doesn't even matter that much. So we'll see how it plays out. He's going to skip this, he looks like he skipped the werewolf duel. You can skip that by playing as Zhao to go through the little trigger. So he's not even going to bother doing the extra duel for the gem. He's just going to go straight to the serpent. Yeah, I mean, sure, you can say it's twice as long, but how long is twice as long in this instance, you know? It's like, it takes Zhao, like, maybe a second to shoot maybe 1 second to shoot a slingshot pellet, and I wouldn't even say that. It's probably less than a second from the time it comes out to hit the damage, so it's not a huge deal, trust. It starts to become a problem when it's like 3 or 4 shotting an enemy. That's when it's like, okay, this is a little slow. Ah, Ryu got dodged on that bomb there. Yeah, throwing bombs at mimics is kind of a struggle because mimics like to move forward and backwards a lot, and they can just literally jump over the bomb as you throw it. Like, you can throw it at them, and it'll kind of lock onto their position while you throw it. But if they jump, then they just, jump straight over the bomb. And it's unfortunate. A lot of enemies can actually do that. You can throw bombs between their legs, and it just misses completely. It's really goofy. They should have made it to where bombs were, honed in on like the middle of an enemy's body rather than like the lower part, but it is what it is. I mean, yeah, if Sonic could... Oh, wow. Ryu just found Row. So he already has one of 3 things he needs on floor 10, the first floor in the dungeon. So this could be crazy for Ryu if he keeps finding, like, the rest of the Atla. He only needs second floor and balcony now, which is crazy. Sonic really needs Ryu to not find these Atla quickly if he wants to win this race. So, and it is possible. I've had runs myself where I found second floor and row like instantly on floor 10, and I did not find balcony until floor 16. So, I mean, it could go either way. It literally is up to the lords of RNG at this point. Alright, so Sonic is just now recruiting Goro, but we'll see what he decides to do with his weapon situation. He can definitely turn this around a good bit if he gets the Serpent Sword turned into a Sense Sphere and all that. So we'll see. He doesn't have the he doesn't have gems or anything to supplement the damage that he's lacking, because the Sense Sphere is going to turn... It's going to basically take 60% of the stats of the Serpent Sword and put those into an attachment, which is still a fair amount, but it's not going to be enough to max out his attack. So we'll see. So he's going to get like 16 attack if he decides to do it right away and just instantly make the Sense Sphere. Probably a little bit more than that because you do get +1 on every upgrade. So it'll probably be more like 19 attack, which still not bad. It'll turn his Bone Slingshot to 27 attack. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. He still has some, like, attack +1s he could upgrade into it and everything, so we'll see. But the RNG gods, indeed. Alright, so Sonic is just going to clear out his inventory here, just sell all the stuff he doesn't need. He's just kind of not going to bother wasting the time selling. As long as he can afford the bombs and the powders and stuff that he needs, he's going to be chilling. So he's going to go straight to the dungeon. He's just now getting to the first floor while Ryu is getting to the second floor. So like I said, he's still been maintaining the pace. He's just been about a floor or a floor and a half behind this whole time, even with the Bandit Slingshot get from ryushon. So Sonic is not out of this race, man. Like, if Sonic finds the 3 Atla he needs quicker than Ryu, this could turn at the last minute, like, literally. So we'll just have to see where it goes. Alright. Not sure why Ryu's opting to kill the Witch Ilzas. Those actually cannot drop the key at all. There's a very, very rare circumstance. Okay, so, his Chris Knife is +3. He's gonna, I guess, Sense Sphere the Chris Knife onto the Serpent Sword. That's an interesting play. This could be okay. It's gonna, it's gonna make his Serpent Sword stronger. And if he gets his Serpent Sword to +2, then he can, have 2 Sense Spheres for the Bone Slingshot. I just don't know if he's going to decide to opt to use it or not. But, yes, he's got 33 attack right now. As opposed to, he would have had, like, 27 attack on the Bone Slingshot if he sent the Serpent. So we'll see what he decides to do. He might send both. It is very possible that he'll do that, but we'll see. Yeah, Witch Ilzas only drop the key in an extremely rare, buggy circumstance. There's like a weird bug that can happen where the floor like doesn't generate enough of the enemies to drop a key. And it'll just put it on a witch for some reason, which is very strange. I've had that happen in kill runs before. But it is like exceedingly rare. That like almost never happens. So it's never really worth it to kill the witches because of that. It does happen in English, yes. Pretty sure it only happens in English. I've never seen it happen in JP. I've been talking about Japanese a lot, but I have run both versions quite extensively. And yeah, I've only ever seen that glitch in English. Alright. Trying to keep an eye on the Atla that Sonic is picking up just to see if he gets an edge anywhere. Oh, he's got row too. Wow, they both got row on the first floor, man. That's actually crazy. So they're both kind of on equal grounds right now. Either of them could get second floor or balcony like pretty quickly, and you know things could change real fast. So that's nice. Yeah, there's a lot of bugs that are so rare that you'll never even see them with tons of hours in the game. Like, there's that bug with the witch Ilza. There's the bug where sometimes the map generation will bug out and create a hole in the floor that'll you'll just fall to your death in, and you can't escape it. You can like get out of bounds and shipwreck because of that. You could just die in Divine Beast Cavern because of it. It's goofy. Alright, looks like I haven't seen Ryu pick up any extra, like, necessary Atla either, so... Oh, there's the balcony right when I said that. Commentator's Curse. Okay, so Ryu has 2 of 3 Atla that he needs right now. If Ryu wants to be, like, a super gamer, what he could do is just decide to leave immediately as soon as he can from here on out, because he only needs 1 Atla. He literally needs one thing, and then he has everything he needs. So, it would be, like... It is risky, but at the same time, it would be smart to just leave as soon as you can, even if you have Atla left over on the floor, because the chances of you finding that one Atla aren't too much different as you go through the floor. Like, the disparity of, like, the time you could lose from sitting there opening all the Atla per floor and not finding it versus, like, just kind of opening it on every... Like, just opening Atla as you go through the dungeon is not a huge, like... It's not a huge difference. Like, you could end up losing more time searching for Atla floor by floor versus just getting the key, leaving, searching Atla, getting the key, leaving, searching Atla. Like, you can save a lot more time that way, but it is risky because it could mean that, you know, you just don't find it. Whereas if you pick up every single Atla on the floor as you go, you will guaranteed find balcony, or you'll guaranteed find second floor at some point. Like, you're not going to miss it. So... That is true, Salty. That's the thing I was talking about. Like, Bandit is just so polarizing for these races. Once you get the Bandit slingshot, like, you're pretty much guaranteed to stay ahead over somebody who doesn't have one. And it's unfortunate. Like, I believe that these races would be made a lot more interesting if the Bandit were just, like, removed from the pool, like the loot pool. Kind of like, you know, a specific race build of the game. Just because it would kind of even things out a little bit. But at the same time, it's not impossible for Sonic to come back. Sonic could also have a really clutch comeback and find everything that he needs before Ryu does. But Ryu's already up on him in that regard because he has 2 out of 3 things where Sonic has 1 out of 3. So, I mean, it's kind of, you know, it's looking a little grim for Sonic, but he's not out for the count. Like, he could definitely pull this back still. It's definitely possible. It's just very, very rare for him to find everything he needs, like, that early. Like, something that could happen is, like, Sonic could find second floor and balcony within the next floor, and then all he has to do is find a key, get the key accepted early, and he can just leave right away. Like, I've had runs before where I found second floor row balcony by, like, floor 12 or 13, and then I've had early key drops, the exit's right next to the key, Owl takes the key first try, and that floor lasted, like, 40 seconds or 30 seconds or something, as opposed to, like, 2 or 3 minutes that it normally lasts. So you could save heaps and heaps of time if, you know, things play out that way. But like I said, that is like a huge hugely luck dependent. I mean, like everything in this game, but the chances of that happening are very, very slim. But it's not impossible. It's happened many, many times in people's runs in this game, so we just gotta prage. Maybe he'll get a bandit here. He's still got the chance. Another Shamshir. The Shamshir has been showing out in this run. It's had so many Shamshirs, dude. Yeah, Bandit can do okay in the next dungeon as well. Like, it can pretty much get you through fine, but if this run is only going up to Utan, if it were going up to Saya, you would want to be actually investing in the Bandit to get it to double impact by then. Because if you don't, then, oh, wow. Okay, Sonic got a... Nice. Sonic got an upgrade on ABS from that magic circle. So he's contemplating right now. He's like, should I Synth Sphere this? Yes. So, okay, Sonic is gonna make the switch to Bandit, or to Bone Slingshot now. So he's using the rest of his power-up powders to Synth Sphere this Serpent Sword. And he's going to put this onto his Bone Slingshot with Zhao. So it's going to help him a little bit, but it might be a little bit too late. He kind of decided to invest in it a little late. But we'll see. I mean, he's still got a shot. He's got 2 Synth Spheres now, which means he's going to have to absorb them to actually get the benefits of both. You can only equip 1 synth at a time. So he's got a pretty decently strong slingshot now, which is going to help him a little bit, but he really needs to find the Atla if he wants to win. That's the thing that he's kind of relying on a lot right now to actually pull it out over Ryushon. Okay, so now we're Zhao mains. We're gaming. Ryu's still searching for that last Atla. He has until floor 16 to find it, but since he's been collecting everything, he's guaranteed to find it. I haven't seen Sonic YOLO and skip any Atla at all, so it's gonna basically be the same for Sonic so far if he decides to, you know, keep searching for all the Atla and not skipping any floors. It'll basically be the same. He will guaranteed find it, but he just hasn't gotten the luck he needs to, you know, get an early exit or anything. Yeah, base lard is awful. I hate the base lard. It makes me so mad. I find a chest, I'm like, oh boy, a weapon! Base lard. It's like, or Basilard. I don't even know how you would pronounce it. It's probably Basilard, but every time I see that thing, I'm just like, dude, this is basically just another dagger. Get this out of my game. Get this off my screen, dude. Trash weapon. But yeah, at least we haven't seen that thing. Sonic could get some good luck here. He already has 2 keys. Nice. He really, really needed that. So Sonic got an instant exit on Goro's floor. That is a massive time save for him. Sonic is now caught up in floors with Ryu. He is on floor 13. And he has a slingshot too. So this could go either way now. That floor really, really pulled him ahead quite a bit. So that was very good. Very, very good for Sonic. He needed that. He got an early key drop, early exit, didn't have to run around Goro's floor a ton, so now he's just pretty much on par with Ryu. Ryu is going to be leaving this floor now, but like, he would be almost 2 floors behind if that didn't happen. So we'll see. I mean, I still haven't seen Ryu get the last Atla he needs, and I still haven't seen Sonic get either of the 2 that he needs as well. So, I mean, you know, it could still go either way. We'll see. Ryu's getting really good key drops. And he's accepted the first key for Ryu as well. Ryu is dodging a lot of combat time loss right now. So, geez, man. Ryu's luck's been great. So Ryu's just gonna, you know, since the key's already accepted, Ryu's just gonna search through the Atla now on this floor. If I were Sonic, I would be pulling Mega YOLOs right now. Like, I would just, you know, full send it just because, you know, that's really like, it's not a guarantee to put you ahead, but it's a good chance to do so if you get an early exit. But he honestly hasn't really been getting good map generations to give him the opportunity to skip Atla. His maps have been kind of like, he's finding the exit after he's already explored everything for the most part. So it's, you know, it's kind of unfortunate. Ryu has definitely had the better RNG in this run, but considering that, Sonic has done a great job at like kind of keeping this close. So yeah, look at that. First key. If I were Sonic, I would leave right now. I would just say, screw this floor, man. We're going to the next one. But Sonic is playing it safe, man. He doesn't want to accidentally skip over the Atla, so he's just gonna try to leave. He's not gonna try to leave any Atla behind if he can help it. So I'm not sure if the racers can see each other's streams. I want to say they aren't looking at each other's streams. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I'm pretty sure they can't, though. Okay, I would definitely leave after these Atla if I were Sonic. Because this is a pretty good chunk of Atla. He's probably, if he decides to look for the rest of them on this floor, he's probably not going to find too many. He'll probably find like 3 max. Probably less, because oh, there's balcony. Okay, yeah, I would 100% leave. You gotta get through this, Sonic. Let's go, dude. I would leave right now. Oh, but there's the second floor. Ryushon has everything he needs now. Now it's a matter of who can get the better key exits. Who can get the faster exits on the keys. I mean, Sonic's not out, though, man. Looks like Ryu's just gonna opt to leave the dungeon early and just go ahead and, you know, get the key item he needs to fight the boss. That's an interesting choice. Usually what I would do is I would just go towards the very end of the dungeon and then leave right before the last floor, but Ryu's gonna get everything right out the way beforehand so that he can just run straight to the end, which isn't a bad play, honestly. It's not bad at all. Why are we defeating witches? And why are we at 2% weapon HP? Oh no! Yeah, no. Ryu's had some incredible RNG in this run. Definitely very good. Alright, so... Oh, that's probably why. Okay, Sonic was probably defeating the witch to get the EXP to upgrade and get more damage. So, there he goes. Maxes out his attack on the Bone Slingshot. And now he's got... max attack, which is not bad. He switches over... No, he's still using fire. I thought he put that holy on so that he would do more damage to the werewolves, but... looks like he's sticking with the fire. Okay, he's got a map, so we can see the exits now. Yeah, Bone Slingshot is not great in this version. It's not horrible, but it's not great. The bandit, if the bandit slingshot didn't exist, it would be the best slingshot still. But because it does exist, it is bad. So yeah, Sonic just needs one more Atla, dude. If he can get this right now while Ryu is doing all of his extra stuff, it could still turn out to be okay. But the luck's not in his favor right now. The game is trolling my boy. He does have all the keys, though, so he could decide to leave right now and kind of catch up some time. But Sonic has been playing very safe since it didn't work out, playing risky in the first dungeon. So I doubt that he's going to leave right now, but he could. He could decide to do it. And he is. Okay, I respect that play, man. You only have one Atla left. You gotta get the early exits when you can. That will put you ahead if you can find the last piece. So I respect that play. I would have done the same thing. Steel Slingshot is not better than Bone in terms of building up easily in a speedrun. It is better than the Bone in terms of like raw stats, but building it up in a speedrun setting, it is way, way worse. Alright. Come on, buddy. Ladder flex by Ryu, yeah. What do we got here? I hope he doesn't get the bandit now after he already absorbed the thing. The second Bone Slingshot. Ryu dumped all Sundews? He did? What? No way. I didn't even see that. That is unfortunate. That is actually a bad thing. The fact that he climbed up the ladder and it didn't spawn yet. Wow, yeah, that's why you don't ever sell your Sundew early, because, yeah, you need it. You always hold on to one. This means that Ryu's gonna have to go back out of the dungeon. His whole plan of, like, not having to come back out of the dungeon kind of backfired on him, because he sold that Sundew. So this means that... Oh! Sonic has all 3 pieces! He's gaming! Sonic can pull this back! All he needs is good luck! Ryu's gonna have to actually leave the dungeon again to get that Sundew if he doesn't find one in a chest. So dude, this is actually getting really close now. Oh man. Oh man, this is all gonna come down to key luck, dude. Sonic has everything, he just needs to exit. Exit, exit. Fast exits is all he needs. If the game can come through for my boy at the last minute, he has a chance. Ryu is not out of this either, though. Ryu is still ahead. Even though he, you know, left and did all that stuff early, Sonic's gonna have to leave and do all that stuff too. So, you know, he didn't really lose a ton of time doing that, other than selling the Sundew. Selling the Sundew did make him lose a lot of time. But nice, he got a really fast exit. So Sonic is actually in this, man. He could do this. The run is being pulled back at the last second. That YOLO that Sonic did, where he skipped that floor, he skipped half of the floor, that was the best play he could have done. Because since he did that, he was only looking for one Atla. He was only looking for the second floor. He found it, and he doesn't have to search any more Atla at all. All he needs is the keys. And he skipped a whole floor's worth of stuff, so that saved him tons of time and not having to open Atla, not having to search around for Atla. So he's pulling this back quite nicely now. He's actually ahead now, so let's go ahead and swap over to his audio. He's not getting terrible map generations. I wouldn't even... Okay, yeah, right. There's a King Mimic here. It is floor 16. I was going to say I wouldn't even bother with the big chest, but I forget. Floor 16 is the king. And it was worth because it had the key. So Sonic needs to get a quick exit here, and then he's in it. Like, he is actually ahead, like, for sure. Because Ryu still has he has this floor and the next floor to exit before he can leave the dungeon again to get the Sundew to actually fight the boss. But Ryu doesn't have to do all of the cutscene stuff anymore. He already did that stuff, so that's all he has to do when he leaves, is he just has to, you know, watch, or get the Sundew. Sonic still has to watch the cutscenes, all that stuff, but it's not, like, a super long cutscene. He also doesn't have the, Sundew himself. He hasn't found one in a chest, and it looks like the owl is being a mega troll and not taking his keys, which is terrible. So unlucky. But the key should be nearby. I mean, he's already defeated most of the enemies on the floor. Yeah, he got really unlucky. Yeah, he's gonna have to go to the right side, find the key. Alright, no from Ryu, and is he gonna take the chestnut? Yes. Okay, so Ryu is still ahead at this point, it looks like. Even though he's a floor behind, technically he's ahead because he doesn't have to do all the cutscene stuff. Yeah, last drop is not what Sonic needed at all, man. If Sonic... We'll see what happens. If Ryu has to stay on this floor for a really long time, like if the key is not accepted early, it could very well be. Because, I mean, he has the exit available to him. He could have checked that key right now. But it looks like he's just going for extra key drops, but he's probably going to opt to check it right now, yeah. If he takes this, then yep, Ryu is in the lead. Ryu does not have to watch any of these cutscenes at all, so we'll see what happens here. It's just like neck and neck almost. Ryu is definitely still slightly ahead, but he just lost a little bit of time going to floor 17 because he doesn't have the Sundew. But, I mean, he's just doing things in an unorthodox order. He's just getting this stuff out of the way. Yeah, that's that glitchless runner luck right there. You run glitchless, you get destroyed by RNG all the time. Alright, so here we go. Ryu is going to pick up the Sundew now. They could be entering Utan at a very similar time, to be honest. I'm not sure what Ryu is doing. Ryu got stuck on the ladder area real quick. There's the Sundew, so now he can exit the building and he can go straight to Utan. I'm not sure if Ryu has enough bombs. I think he does. I think he hasn't really had to use any of his bombs because he's been using the slingshot, but yeah, Ryu's probably about to finish this out right now. Sonic has to finish this cutscene. He has to go stock up on bombs if he doesn't have them. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Ryu made a bad mistake! Ryu accidentally entered a floor early. Like earlier in the dungeon that he did not need to enter. So this actually might be pretty good for Sonic. That was a bad mistake. Because Ryu skipped some Atla on floor 8, the cursor defaulted to floor 8 when he entered the dungeon instead of floor 17. So Ryu was just mashing just to get in there quickly, but he didn't realize it was going to send him back there, so he actually lost some time. But I think Ryu still might have this in the bag. Now he's going to floor 17, and he's about to fight Utan, so dang, this is really close. Yeah, Sonic still has to buy a bunch of stuff. And he still has to do the cutscenes and everything, too. Yeah, Sonic has no bombs. He is gaming. Yeah, dang, man. There was definitely a chance for Sonic to win this, but it looks like Ryu's going to come out on top for this one. Just barely. Even with the mistakes of the Sundew and the extra floor entrance, like, he still was ahead enough to make it work. Alright. Ryu has not stocked his items, but should be fine. So it takes, I believe, 30 bombs to kill Utan. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll see here. That's 8. Oh yeah, and Sonic had to get the Sundew too. He forgot to get it while he was in there. Yikes, 16. Oh, okay. Uh-oh, uh-oh, little fumble on Ryu's part. It's okay, he's still in this. The nerves are going crazy right now. The spaghetti is real. He still has enough time for this to be okay. Is he out of bombs? Is he out of bombs? This could actually be bad. This could actually be very bad for Ryu. Oh no. Is Sonic gonna pull ahead with the lack of bombs going on here? He very well might. This is possible for Sonic. Wow, dude. Sonic might not have enough bombs either, though. I don't know if he bought 30. Ryu might have this. This is crazy. Yeah, Ryu's playing safe now. I'm pretty sure he's got this still. Unless some trolling occurs right now. Like if he dies or something, which would be awful. God, this is so much slower than the bombs. Okay, Sonic missed a bomb. And he's also getting trolled. Dude, what is going on? The boys are getting bodied. Okay, Sonic's in the groove now. Okay, this will probably do it? No? How much damage is he lacking? Oh yeah, stamina, that's a good thought. Good idea. Sonic could win. He could win. Oh, the no effect! No way! His hammer connected with Utan's arm. Sonic could definitely win this. Sonic's got the loop going crazy right now. This is so close. Yo, Sonic took it, dude. GG's to Sonic, bro. My boy came back from the trenches, the depths. GG's, Sonic. So unfortunate for Ryu to lose it at the last second. But you gotta make sure you have enough bombs. Wow, dude. That is a crazy comeback on Sonic's part. And there we go. Ryu finishes 2. Wow, dude. That was so close. No way. Wow, dude. Insane comeback from Sonic. GG's to both runners. That was a crazy fun race. That was really good. Lots of interesting play on both sides. Yeah, Ryu just, I guess, it slipped his mind that he didn't have enough bombs to actually end the fight as quickly as Sonic could. Sonic had a little bit of hiccups at the beginning, too, because he missed a lot of the bombs at the start, but he still had enough in his inventory to make it work. So, wow, man. GG's to the runners. That was crazy, crazy cool. Yeah, that was a heck of a race to start with, indeed. GG's. Wow, man. All right, well, incredible, incredible. What's up, Ryu? GG's, man. That was crazy, dude. Oh, can't hear you if you're trying to speak, but yeah, super close race, man. There we go, there we go. I can hear you now.
I was double muted. Oh my god, I can't believe I sold my Sundew.
I know, man. That was such a brutal time loss. And I think because you left the dungeon early to get everything built, it didn't spawn for you, so you had to come back out again. That was just oof, painful.
I had spreadsheets open. I'm sitting there looking. I was like, where do I get another? Where do I get another? Where do I get another? I finally found it. I didn't realize that getting onto the floor triggered the chest. So
Yep, that is exactly what does it. But yeah, man, that was still really good, dude. You played really well for the majority of that. It's just that one little mistake kind of snowballed a tiny bit at the end. But even despite that, dude, it was a good adaptation to, like, switch to Goro and start doing the, loop with him and Tone together. Like, you still were able to finish it out. But yeah, Sonic just, he had enough bombs to begin with, so it kind of let him edge it out. Yeah, still really close, man. It was like, what? I don't even know, like 22 seconds of a difference between you two. So yeah,
it was within 30 seconds for sure. And it was what I think helped a lot was just the crazy amount of RNG I got at the beginning. Like,
dude, yeah,
I cleared Dran in under an hour. Like, that's
yeah. Sub-hour Dran is very good, especially in the race setting. Like, that is super good luck. And yeah, you got the bandit, like, as soon as you hit Wise Owl Forest by, like, floor 2 or whatever. That was a great find as well. It lets you kind of stay ahead of Sonic for the majority of the run. So, very good stuff.
It was good. I mean, I could tell that both of us were on world record pace.
Yeah, for sure. You guys were on sub 2 pace for quite a bit. That was great. Is Sonic about to hop in here? Where's Sonic at, bro? Need some Sonic post-game commentary, too. But yeah, dude. GG's. Super GG's. That was really fun to watch.
It was good. I don't know if you saw my practice that I had live yesterday. It was a mess.
It can be like that sometimes, for sure.
So, compared to the run today, I mean, I was finishing. I had stopped my timer at one point yesterday, but I was finishing yesterday in my practice at like 3 hours. So, like, drastic difference between today and yesterday.
For sure. Yeah, good stuff, man. 2:03 is a very solid time. And yeah, Sonic is here, but he needs to pop up in here. We need his post-run thoughts as well. Where you at, boy? But yeah, either way, man, great showing. Just while we have the time here, where can the homies in Speed Gaming stream, where can they find you? On Twitch, YouTube? Where you at, man?
All of the above. So, ryushon91 over on Twitch. You can also find me, ryushon91, there on YouTube. Not as faithful there. I apologize if you're big YouTube fans. I do what I can. All of the PBs get posted, so if that's what you're interested in, if you just want to see how fast it can go, that's where you want to be.
Heck yeah, man. And what's going on, Sonic? Dude, you clutched it out, dude. At the last possible second, man. You clutched it out. How you feeling about the run, man? Are you muted as well? The boys locked in so hard they're even muted in the commentary. He's getting it squared away. I'll see if I can post your links. I do have mods, so I should be able to. There we go. Got you hooked up in the chat there. Still can't hear you at the moment, Sonic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. How you feeling, man?
I mean, I had no idea what was going on the whole race. I wasn't like watching the stream or anything. So I was just really surprised it was that close.
I didn't even have it pulled up, so
that's probably a good thing, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I was just trying to go as fast as I could. That was it.
For sure, man. I was really impressed with some of the plays that you decided to make, Sonic. Like, you did some YOLOs that I would have done myself, and I was like, yes, dude, you have to do this. Like, when you had already found, like, 2 of the Atla pieces in the second half of Wiseowl, and you got the key accepted early, you, like, skipped half the floor. You're just like, you know what? Screw it, man. I can find the last one on these next floors. I'm going to do it, and you did. It played off so well.
Yeah, I mean, if it works out, then it saves time, and if it doesn't, I feel like it's still probably faster, because then you can just go back and, stop when you find what you need.
Exactly, right. And then, yeah, you tried that as well in the first half, or, like, the second half of, No, it was the first half of Divine Beast Cavern. You went for a hard YOLO on a couple floors, but got pretty unlucky with the Atla generation. I think both floors generated 8 Atla, the ones that you decided to skip. I was like, no, man, that's the worst thing that could happen, but... Even with that, like, you managed to play that well. You got pretty early finds when you returned to the floors, so it still ended up pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out. I'm just glad it did.
For sure, man. And since we gave the shouts out to Ryushon, where can the homies in Speed Gaming find you, Sonic? Where do you stream and upload?
Sonickrazy, twitch.tv/Sonickrazy. I stream every Wednesday. I do any % glitchless runs every Wednesday. Of this
Glitchless homie, let's go, dude.
Yep.
All right, I'll post you up in chat as well. Everybody go follow these 2 incredible runners. These guys are goated, showing out for the Dark Cloud family. Great job from both of you guys. And if you guys want to follow me, I also do Dark Cloud 1, Dark Cloud 2 stuff, glitchless mostly for both games. Twitch.tv/glitched. I'll post my junk in the chat as well. And yeah, it was really fun to be able to commentate with this run. This run was like a roller coaster, dude. So many ups and downs, and the ending was so exciting. So great job to both of you guys. I really appreciate you guys participating in the race and putting on a good show for the community. Thank you both.
Yeah, I'm glad we could do a really, really good run for our first match.
And I'm just glad, you guys are hosting this, because I've wanted to do this forever.
Yeah, man.
So thanks for that.
Heck yeah, dude. For sure. And yeah, we have plenty more races to come in the future. We have a whole bracket of, I think, like, I don't even know how many players. At least 8 for 9. Sure. It's 9, yeah, 9. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we have 9 players, set up to go head-to-head for, a bracket-style race. So we got plenty of these races coming in the future as well, so everybody stay tuned. If you are coming here from watching Dark Cloud just through the category on Twitch, make sure you follow Speed Gaming so you can stay updated on when the next races will be happening and whatnot. You could also join the Dark Cloud Speedrunning Discord to kind of keep updated with when the races will be going down. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Strife. I appreciate you. All right, y'all. So I'll go ahead and sign us off. You guys did a great job once again, and we'll be looking forward to seeing the next matches in the race. So GG's, everybody.
GG's. GG's, Ryushon.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Heck yeah. All right. See you all next time.
Catch you then.